Fellow Kenyans, as we deliberate the Adani issue, I want us to remember, and this is subject I've discussed quite a number of times, and this entails Kenya being held hostage by what you call the globalist organizations. Months earlier, I stated clearly, or I lamented, that Kenya has been chosen as a pilot country, or rather the prototype for the implementation of what you call the New World Order agenda. One of the key pillars in the New World Order agenda, it states clearly that there will be total control of state corporations, properties, assets, and agricultural land from individuals to these globalist corporations. Today, we are discussing a very vital issue, and this entails the takeover of our airport by none other than the Adani Group. Now, the key companies or the key globalist organizations that are spearheading this New World Order agenda are the World Economic Forum, the IMF, the World Bank, the United Nations, and the World Health Organization. The World Economic Forum is the key pillar or the key organization that is spearheading this agenda as a whole. I want Kenyans to go and do an independent investigation on the relationship between Adani and the World Economic Forum. Adani, or rather Gautam Adani, who is the CEO of Adani Group, is a member and a high-ranking member of the World Economic Forum. And I mentioned earlier that their biggest plan here in Kenya is to take over our state corporations, our agricultural land, our properties, and our assets. And this is information that is out there, and Kenyans should go and read about this. Now, I've mentioned quite a number of times that it is prudent for the government to give us evidences, or rather to show us the agreements they have been signing on as securities to the loans they've been taking. When you look at similar countries that have been taking borrowings from these Bretton Woods institutions, there are two factors that are considered as securities to the loans. When you look at a country like Ukraine, they signed the loans, or rather they were given the loans by these Bretton Woods institutions on condition that they surrender all their state corporations and agricultural land. And we can see it's evident today, a majority of their state corporations, a majority of their agricultural land has already been taken over by these globalist organizations. Now, here in Kenya, we are seeing a similar trend, and that's why we are asking the government to give us evidences, or rather to show us proof or tell us the sureties that were put in place when this funding were given to this country of ours, Kenya. Now, look at it this way. Today, we are discussing the takeover of the JKIA. We've had rumors they want to take over Kenya Power. We've had rumors they are taking over our water organizations. We've had rumors they want to take over Kenya Railways. I want to agree that expansion of an airport is actually a very good project, or what you call a game changer project for the country. It is a very good idea to have or to broaden the airport. But the way this government is transacting this expansion or takeover of the airport is nothing than a cheap sell of one of our most important hub in this country. Now, countries that have grown because of what you call game changer projects. When you look at countries like Hong Kong, countries like Dubai, they only had to do a very simple thing, and they started with building what you call an international airport. This government should focus on looking for funding. And we have said quite a number of times, Kenya is not a poor country. We have resources that we can hold as collateral. Just go here at Mlima Hills. We have niobium worth more than 300 billions. We have all types of mineral deposits in this country that can be used as a guarantee to get this funding. With $4 to $5 billion, we'll be in a position to build one of the biggest airports in this Africa. Today, we are seeing Rwanda and Ethiopia. They are planning to build the biggest airports in Rwanda in itself is investing about $3 to $4 billion. And in addition to that, Qatar Airways is giving them more than 40 planes. So that means we are being left behind while we watch. If we are able to expand it, just imagine if we build this airport with a funding of about $4 to $5 billion and build an airport that can do a transit capacity of between 20 to 30 million people in this country of ours. Just imagine the kind of flow we'll have, a capital flow we'll have in this country. There are so many people who will be transiting in this country. The moment they enter into this country, they pay for the visa. So that's an income for the country. The moment they enter and sleep in our hotels, that's an income for this country. The moment they come in, most of them, out of 100 people, 1 or 2 will be interested to invest in our country. We have so many natural resources that we can explore. Even as we all understand, one of our biggest source of income as a country is wildlife. Why can't the government do critical thinking and even create a railway line all the way from the airport to Masai Mara? We already have a railway line that lies from Nairobi and ends at a place called Dukamoja. Why don't you extend that to the Mara? It's only 10-20 kilometers to Masai Mara National Park, where people who are transiting here between for a period of 1 to 2 days can use the standard gauge railway, the speed rails, all the way from the airport to Masai Mara for a day or two and come back. That is income to our country, and we're advertising and marketing our country to the world. Number two, we have a very good strategic national park, which actually is the only national park in the whole world that is in the city. Why don't you build trams, or rather speed rails, all the way from the airport to Nairobi National Park, so that people who are transiting can come in, look at our animals. The moment they go in there, we earn as a country. The moment they come into our country, most of them are going to be interested in investing here. You see, we need to think beyond the box. A time has come where living in this third and fourth industrial revolution as a country, my advice to the government is that we have to think deep. Let us not just fall into the trap of these globalists. Today, they are planning to take over our entire state corporations. As we are busy discussing the airport issue, they are talking of taking over Kenya Power. Take an example, a country like South Africa. What happened to South Africa? The moment South Africa privatized what you call Eskom, that is their power company, that was the beginning of their problems in South Africa. A lot of load shedding and lack of electricity. We don't want such scenarios in our country. So the government should wake up, and Kenyans should wake up and understand that Adani is just but a decoy or a front to the bigger globalist organizations that want to take over our state corporations. We must resist this move. We must resist this idea. We as Kenyans can remove ourselves from these shackles of poverty and shackles of colonization. It is time we wake up and understand that the time is now.